Tonight's amazing Suncoast woman has traveled the world and earned advanced degrees at fine universities.
And the more she sees, the more she treasures her hometown of Rubonia, and the more she wants to preserve its history. ABC 7's Linda Carson has more.
Dr. Nicki Ruckowski's roots go deep in Rubonia.
The area's always been home as far as I'm concerned. And this is where I wanted to come back to, even though I traveled elsewhere.
She spent her career teaching in Manatee County.
I was teaching on this side of the river at 2 elementary schools. I lived in Bradenton, and then I moved, had an opportunity to move back onto my grandfather's farm and built a house, and I live there now.
She's always researched the past.
I do genealogy, and I figured, oh, what about Rubonia?
Rubonia became a township in 1920, and she started with the census from that year.
I took every single one of those names, and I followed the family history, not only coming forward, but also going back as far as I could go. And what I found is that in 1920, those families that were here, their members are still living here.
And she learns a lot of Rubonia's history from them.
I find coming to the community center, meeting those descendants and hearing what they have to say, a tremendous amount of stories that need to be preserved, and they are word of mouth many times, but also to have the documentation.
The 1920 census is a gold mine of information.
In 1920, this was a community where at that time there were the heads of household, 30 were white, 25 were black, and then there were a few other. So it was sort of a half and half.
And their occupations?
The majority was agriculture. There were 4 people who worked on the railroad. This is heads of household. There were shopkeepers, and there was 1 fisherman.
She shares what she's learned with the descendants, who are often surprised at what they learn.
There'll be a book, because to compile not only the family genealogies, but also the background on the land, the schools, which are very important, and other aspects of the community.
And her life lesson?
It doesn't matter what family it is, they're all going to have trials and tribulations, ups and downs, and every family has courage and perseverance. Maybe a little bit different than others, but that's what I found.
And as Nicki continues her research into the people who settled Rubonia and the people who live here today, she is uncovering many, many wonderful stories. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.